Welcome back everyone in this new trailer. In this video we're going to make it so we can drag and drop the little units. So let's dive right in. So first off we want to have some kind of variable which knows if we are drag and dropping or not to disable focus management. Dragging, we're just going to call that, and it's going to be false by default. And if we left click, so in our, we don't want to create that in our unit, I'm sorry. In our in-game controller, we have a variable which is dragging. We're not going to, we're going to call that anything, make that a boolean, and rename that. If not, the B is not going to be parsed like usual, and you're going to end up with a B in the name, and we don't want that. So we are going to make it false, and if we use left mouse button, for now we're just going to make simple click and then we're going to do drag and drop after that. So if we are pressing the button and we have focus unit, we're going to make a macro for that. Macro as focused unit, and it's going to use an exec pin and two exec pins like that, and this is going to be called executes. Yep. We want the focus units. If it's valid, we're going to do it this way, close everything else. So if we have a focus unit, we're going to make that red, like not like that, because it looks too similar to the events, like that. So if we have a focus unit, we're going to grab that. We're going to make a getter for that, just in case we need to do some manipulation with it. We don't want to use the variable right away. For now it looks silly, but we might be doing some stuff afterwards. So if we have a focus unit, we're just going to say that we are dragging. We're going to start dragging, and if we left click and we have a focus unit and we're not dragging yet, we want to be starting to drag, and we're going to stop dragging if we click while we are dragging, like this. And we want some categories in there, because we're not going to it's going to be hard to find stuff after we start adding logic. So this is going to be dragging and this is going to be focusing, like that. So if we left mouse button, we're going to start dragging. We're just going to put down a print. Yep. So it's working. So we're going to build a little logic in our unit just so we can see it's properly being dragged. Set drag state enabled. If it's enabled, we want the skeletal mesh. We're going to build a little logic for that. It's kinda just so we avoid over spamming that with lots of stuff. So if we want to go to put the unit down in the air, with a little animation. So if we start dragging, we want that to be, and if we stop dragging, we want that to be, it's a little ugly like that, but for now we're going to do it this way, like that. We're going to close everything else, so when we set drag states, set mesh relatives z state, we're just going to do it like this for now. So when we start dragging, we're going to grab our focus unit and we're going to um, set states, set drag states, and when we stop dragging, we're going to say the same thing. We're not dragging anymore. So yeah, so it automatically, because it automatically unfocus it, because we forgot to say that we don't want to find the focus unit if we are dragging. That way we are not going to lose the focus on the units we are dragging. Like this. Okay, so it detects, but it does not follow our cursor, obviously. So we're going to build a little logic that does that. Updates dragged units location. Which is going to get, we're going to have a get dragged. Oh, it's obviously the focus unit which we are dragging. We cannot be dragging something else. And for now we're going to do something real messy, just for the sake of seeing it work. So if we are dragging, we're going to set the location of the focus units to the location of our cursor. So find focus unit is going to be called find focus unit, but we're going to use the get hit cursor. We're going to use the get hit cursor just to store the hit location, and it's going to be stored in a variable which is cursor location. And we're going to say that we want that unit to be located at our cursor location, and we want to be calling this in our tick function like this. Okay, it doesn't, our cursor is not hitting with anything, and it loop triggers on the units. Yeah, so it only reacts to the collision of the other units. That's why we can over there. And in there it puts at 0, 0, 0 because we are not interacting with the world. So we want that to be blocking everything. Block all, and we want white stuff to not collide with anything for now. It's not, maybe because it has to generate hit and overlap events. Nope, it does not work. Oh yeah, because we are looking for pawn, of course. We are looking for pawns. So we'll just make that a pawn like that. And if that's a pawn, if we have a hit actor, we're going to unfocus the unit. If we do not have one, and if the cast fail, we're going to unfocus the unit as well. Yep. So we have kind of a drag and drop logic going on. But as you can see, it puts them not on the right place. It's at minus 50, and I'm not sure why it puts that on the ground. Okay, okay, okay. That's the unit that we are putting on the ground. We did not. Yeah, I know what's wrong. Because we put the unit at the location of our cursor, which is not correct. It should be, for now we're going to cheat that, but after that we're going to make something that adapts to what are we on. Okay, so I know what's doing that, what's producing that. We're going to quit and open up our character, and we're going to set up the spring arm does not do collision test. Yep. And for now, after that we're going to build a logic that adapts, that drops the unit at the perfect location all the time, no matter the, regardless of the heights on which you drop it, the size of the object on which you drop it. So how are we going to do that? It's pretty easy, I think. Update dragged unit location. We're just going to say plus 50 for now. I mean, we have to use the size of the capsule there, 50. I think that's correct. Yep, that drops it on the floor. But this is too. I'm going to make that even. Okay, okay, okay. I did not want. Oh, I control Z. Maybe I crashed. No, I did not crash. I'm going to save. So I don't want that to be scaling uniformly. Yep. I want that to be underground, and I want all the units to be underground as well, like that. Yeah, looks better. It's going a little bit too high, and it's not playing an animation, so we're going to need to create an interface for that. We are going to put that in the units utils folder, create a new blueprint interface to communicate with all the animation instances we created. So this is going to be called BPI for blueprint interface anim communication. We're going to open that up. Our first function is going to be set dragged anim states, and we're going to create a boolean called be dragging, obviously, like that, and we're going to add that to our animation blueprints we created. Whoops. And we're going to put these animation blueprints in our blueprint folder, just to be easier to access them, and we're going to open both of them. Class settings, add interface, BPI anim communication. Same thing goes for that one, BPI anim communication. And we're going to add the events, set dragged anim state. We're going to add that to both of these. We're going to promote that to a variable called being dragged, and we're going to call that variable being, promote that to a variable and call that being dragged, and it's going to use that in the locomotion tree, or maybe in the locomotion tree from idle new states dragged, and goes back to that, going being dragged false. Now not that one, that one, like this, dragged, and we're going to say it's running for now, doing the same thing for that one. I'm not going to do it for that one. We don't care, it's not interesting for now. We did not call the events, and we're going to say skeletal mesh get anim instance, set dragged anim states on and off. So yeah, it's like it's running, and it's not going to work for that one, but we do not care. And I'm just going to, for the fun and sake of things, I'm just going to duplicate that run animation. I'm going to call that dragged anim, and I'm going to set play rates like 3, and I'm going to use that unit in the animation blueprint. Yeah, it does the joke a little bit more. And we're just going to implement the drag and drop logic instead of just simple click as well. So in there, in the event graph, what is there? In the in-game controller, back to the event graph, I closed everything else. So what is the logic of the drag and drop? If we press and we start dragging, we're going to add a delay for now, just to see if it works. And if we stay, how are we going to do that? Okay, b new variable b holding. So if we stayed press 0.2 seconds, how are we going to do that? When we release, if we were holding, okay, we need a timer, so it's going to be set holding states, start holding. Actually, dragging is going to be called moving units. It compile, refresh everything, and holding is going to be called dragging. So in there we're not going to do it that way. Start, okay, we cannot call that start dragging, so this is going to be called start moving units. Stop moving units. Updates moved unit location. That's more accurate. So we're going to start dragging after like 0.2 seconds. Start dragging, where is start dragging? We're going to promote that to a variable. Dragging timer. And if we release the input within these 2 seconds, we're not going to be dragging. So we want to know if we are dragging. If we are not yet dragging, it means we're not going to drag, and it means we single clicked. It means we single clicked and released instantly. And if we were indeed dragging, we're going to be stop moving units and stop dragging, I guess. Like that. Maybe it's just going to be stop dragging, which calls stop moving units. That sounds logical to me. So if we were dragging, we're going to stop. And if we click while we were moving but not dragging, we're going to stop moving unit like that. We're going to promote that to a variable, make that drag delay, drag trigger delay. And what does start dragging do? For now it just says dragging. Oh no, we have, yeah, that's it, I think. And stop dragging, for now it just says stop moving units, and it also says we're no longer dragging. So single click still works, and dragging seems to be working. Okay, it's too long to detect the drag. It doesn't feel correct. It doesn't feel correct. Point 1. Doesn't feel correct either. Maybe that's the logic, because the timing seems correct. Okay. Hmm. Maybe the logic is not correct because it doesn't feel quite right, or maybe the logic, maybe that's not the way to build it, maybe? And it needs something to better realize what we're doing, and it's missing that. That's a small laser going from the units to my cursor location to better realize where am I putting the unit. For now, I'm just going to put 0.1, and we're going to see if there's a better way to do it, to make it more pleasing to use. Okay, okay. We're just going to draw a little beam between the cursor and the units. And I'm wondering how to do this the easiest way. I think that's not where you should put that, but for now we're just going to do that. When we are starting to drag the units, no, we don't want to do that. We don't want that. In the auto battle player in-game controller, in the update moved unit location, we're going to draw a sphere, an arrow, draw arrow from the cursor location to, I'd say, like this. Why does it ask for a size? If I'm this looks like the size. Okay, we'll see what it does. We're going to make it green for now, like that, with some vibrance. We're just going to see what it looks like. Okay, we can't barely see it. So the color is, we're going to let it green without vibrance. We're going to make it way thicker. And okay. That's way better. That's way better with the drawing, the draw arrow. So offline with I won't record, but I will copy and paste the logic we did for the run there in for that guy. And most of the time, if you see new units, new animation, I would have just uh, copied and pasted what we've done on the live on the animation blueprint to the other animation blueprints. I won't be copying and pasting everything live, just for just for just so you don't get bored. Okay, so that's it for that video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye bye.